that is one thing I've gained from working in retail, is that the general population can act like knobs.
Yeah.
So
unreasonable.
I'm not saying that everybody's a knobhead, but I just...
Nope, I'm saying it. Everyone is a knob.
Hello and welcome to another week of Two Sheep in a Pool. My name's James.
And my name's Ben.
How you doing?
I'm doing alright, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Did you see the Giants this week?
I did.
You went down?
No, just saw them out the window.
Would they go past?
Yeah, literally right outside.
Oh, that bed looked good. Yeah, you're not impressed?
I was kind of done with them by the end of it.
Yeah.
Cause havoc.
Yeah. So there's been like some giant puppets going around Liverpool, and they closed like all the roads, and it's been a bit of a mess trying to get anywhere.
I feel like you're explaining it, but it still doesn't make it sound any less weird. From giants to big puppets going around Liverpool. I mean, that is literally what it is, but...
Yeah, like controlled by people.
Yeah.
So I was speaking to people and they thought it was really good.
Mm-hmm. No, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want to like put it down. It actually was really good.
I've been I went like the last time they came, and it wasn't amazing. People have just said it's like the best thing they've ever seen.
Okay, really I don't get that. It was good.
Yeah.
It's not that good.
Yeah. You wouldn't stand around. You saw it from your balcony. Like, you wouldn't go down and stand in the crowds and come from... Yeah, it was so busy.
I actually felt very smug. Like, I looked down and I was like, I'm really glad I don't have to be down there with all of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, my girlfriend's mum was like saying, I don't even know whether Liverpool's busy or not. And then me and my girlfriend will walk around town and it's just rammed. It's like London.
It was madness. I've never... ever seen Liverpool as busy as it was.
Yeah.
Like, because I was trying to get to various places working on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I literally had to, I don't think I've told you this actually, I got in a taxi to go to my first gig.
Right.
I'd pre-planned it was going to be busy, so I dropped off half my equipment the night before.
Okay.
So I was like, I knew it was going to be busy.
Yeah.
So I left an hour earlier than I would have done anyway.
Okay.
Because I thought, busy, you know. He took me further away from the venue because all the roads were shut, so we had to go up round out from where I would have gone. We sat there for 20 minutes stationary up next to the cathedral, and I suddenly realised like I wasn't going to make it. Like, even if we got through that bit and then it was a smooth journey, which it definitely wouldn't have been, still would have been late. So I had to cancel the trip, paid £7 to get up there,
right, and
ran with my guitar the whole way to the rest of the gig through just solid crowds of people. It was madness. Like, do you see the pictures next to the Liver building?
Yeah, beautiful pictures.
Yeah,
it's such a big crowd.
But why?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get the fuss.
No.
I think it's just because it's like a unique event, isn't it? Really.
But yeah.
Right. Should we go into news?
Yeah, let's go into the news. Right, so welcome to this week's News Bleat. It's news that's not really news, it's just some stuff that we found interesting this week.
Well, at least one of us did.
Or maybe neither of us. Right, what have you got?
No, you go. You go first.
Me go? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you've already seen this, that there's a new cycling world champion.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very exciting.
Is he from Bury?
No, he's not.
Oh,
no.
That's a shame.
He's from Spain. It's controversial, actually.
Go on.
He's 38 years old.
Right. That's pretty old.
Pretty old to be world champion.
Sort of athlete.
And this guy was convicted in the past for doing drugs.
What, a bit of cocaine on the side, or...?
Yeah, just some recreational, smoking a bit of weed.
Right.
No, this was...
performance enhancing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So people are being like, come on, you're 38. That can't be clean.
Yeah.
He's not been found to be doing anything wrong, but people are just like...
Suspicious.
Yeah.
Very suspicious.
I quite like
what's
him
his
anyway.
name?
Alejandro Valverde.
Oh, well, that's a good job. Well, I'm impressed by that.
Thanks.
And what makes him the world champion? Like, how does that go down?
It's a one-off race towards the end of the year.
Right.
Each course is different. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of... This year was suited to people who are climbers. Like, it was a very mountainous course.
Right.
So there wasn't going to be like a sprinter winning it this year. Because the guy who's had it for the last 3 years, who is probably the best cyclist all round of this generation, he lost it this year because it didn't suit him.
And who's that?
Even though he's called Peter Sagan.
Okay. Where's he from?
He's from Slovakia.
Okay.
But he lost it. He's had it for 3 years in a row, which is like pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm. Is it held in a different country every year?
Different country every year.
Right.
So it just rotates. I think it's in the UK next year.
You're going to go and watch it?
Yeah. If it actually is in the UK. I think it's in Yorkshire. I think they're having it in Yorkshire.
Peak District, something like that.
So yeah.
Very interesting.
Anyway, let's not spend too much time on that because I know that not really anyone else is interested in cycling.
Shall I go into my news?
Yeah.
Second news lead. So, this is another sports related.
Go on.
Yeah. So, you're not really into the NFL at all, but we watched a couple of stuff. So, there's been a holdout. So some of the players kind of going on strike. So Le'Veon Bell, who is a running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's basically not been showing up to work, is basically the idea. So all of preseason and all the games so far, he has not turned up. And basically the reason for that is he feels like he's not being paid enough. Right. Okay. So he's on a 1-year contract, which means he gets $14 million guaranteed this year.
Okay.
But he's not turning up to work. So
Hang on. So
go on.
He must have agreed this contract before the season started.
So basically, he's on this thing called, it's like a franchise tag. So it means that
This is complicated.
Yeah. So the business that is the Pittsburgh Steelers football team can put this tag on someone and keep them for an extra year.
Right.
So that they can't go and join another team. And you have to agree to it, I think, as a player. And you get like basically a average of the top 5 salaries for your position, guaranteed money.
Right.
Which this year he got $14 million guaranteed, but he gets fined like $800,000 for every game he misses, and he's missed I think 4 games now. And his issue was that they've got 1 year left with the Steelers, and he thinks that they're going to come out and just use him every single play, and like American football's a harsh game and he's likely to get injured or something like that. And another player that's done that is Earl Thomas, who's doing a somewhat similar thing. His contract's up at the end of this year,
right?
Who plays for the Seattle Seahawks. And he was only getting $10 million this year, but he feels like he's worth more than that, and the Seahawks wouldn't give him the money basically.
Right.
So for the whole of preseason, he didn't come to any training and he missed the games, but then he turned up for the regular season. Okay. So what do you think about all this? Like, do you feel it's like right? Should they turn up?
Well, I feel
work?
like, I mean, this is really not founded in any.
No, but just like how you feel about it.
Well, my initial thought is that's a lot of money anyway. Just stick with your contract and do it. But I suppose it's relative to them in the sport. If they can hold out and it's going to benefit them. Mm-hmm. From an outsider, I'd just say just play the games.
Just play something that you want to do and get the money.
Yeah.
I think that's fair enough.
But I get the flip side.
Yeah. So Earl Thomas, when he broke his leg and he was being carted off the field, he gave the middle finger to the Seattle sideline, and he got fined quite a bit of money for doing that. But yeah, I can imagine being quite annoyed.
Yeah, because what he was worried about happening happened.
Yeah, basically. And then Le'Veon Bell basically went on Twitter and was like, I'll carry on being the bad guy so other people like you can kind of get the contracts they deserve.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else for news?
Yeah, so side note, that's not really news in any way because it's coming from me.
Okay.
But post our gaming episode from last week, I was talking to one of my friends who listened to it.
Oh, this is feedback?
This is not feedback, but it's inspired him.
Okay.
So we spoke about Pokemon.
We did.
In fact, no, I don't know whether this did inspire him because I was talking to him about it before. Pokemon, anyway.
Okay.
He sent me a message saying that on his bucket list, he wants to fully complete one of the games and catch all of the Pokemon and become the very best that no one ever was, etc. Mm-hmm. So we're now both going on a mission to 100% Pokemon.
Which one?
Red. The original ones.
Okay.
Original Pokemon. We're going back. We've got our Game Boy Colors, and we're going to do it.
Is this a race?
I mean, we've not said it is, but I'm definitely treating it as a race.
He's going to listen to this and he's going to be like, oh, it's a race, and you're going to be like 98%. He's like, God damn it.
I'm already almost there. No, I'm...
Are you going to be capturing Mew? Like, you're going to do the glitch to get Mew?
Yes. Well, I've got an advantage because I've got 2 game cartridges.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, if I'm struggling to catch them, I could just trade them across. Maybe we should bring in rules because I feel like I'm cheating there.
I think depending on what version you have, you can only capture. Obviously, you've only got a maximum of what you think, or
Well, that's why I'm doing it on yellow.
Right.
But then I also have access to red.
Right.
So I think I should be able to cover all of them. Blue probably has one or two that we.
I think you can get nearly everything on yellow.
Yeah, I think you can, can't you?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That was that. That's the breaking news story.
Feedback. I think that's feedback.
Well, no, his feedback was I was talking badly about him on Halo.
Shit chatting.
Yeah, I think my comment was compared to my friends who aren't good at Halo.
And he felt personally attacked.
Yeah, I think he felt attacked by that. Sorry about that.
Sorry, not sorry.
The other things...
Go on.
...that have broken, hot scoops...
Hot scoops.
That are probably not hot scoops now. I think they came out about a week ago just after Big Gaming.
Warm scoop.
Gaming related, Harry Potter, there was a big leak for a game that they're bringing out Harry Potter related. Have you seen any of that?
Oh, I think I've seen a video of this.
Big open world RPG. Ooh. It looks like the game's really far along in development.
Okay.
But someone played this clip from, I can't remember what studio it was that are making it, but they kind of watched this clip and then were told to fill out a survey on what they thought. I think that they were kind of putting the feelers out for what audiences would think. And then they leaked the video that they had just watched.
Right.
And it looks great. It's set in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pre all of Harry Potter era. And I think the idea is that you're a student who's going in late. I think your magic abilities, I'm doing quote signs here, but no one can see that. They've kind of come on late. So you're joining in like 5th year, I think it is.
Just like a late puberty spurt. Of
Oh,
I'm magic now.
That'd be pretty great if that could happen to us.
Imagine being in normal school and just doing stuff. Like, like being bored at school, I was always like, oh, what if I could just move that door? And like, just imagine just stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
I wonder how they build that up. I wonder if they just throw you into Hogwarts or you like have to work your way through the Muggle world first.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So that's happening anyway, and you get to create your character from scratch. I think you can choose, male, female, and then character create, all that. But it looks really good.
I feel like this is where we may differ, and I'll be like, this is great
like
for 10 minutes.
Skyrim-esque.
Yeah.
So if this happens, I'm really excited.
It sounds. Depending on if it's like a monthly pay thing, I'll probably do it for a month to see how it goes.
No, it's a full console game.
Okay.
So it looks like it's being released on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Oh, I don't know in my mind, but I've had it as like a multiplayer thing.
No, that's why I'm so excited because there's that thing that just came out. Like they brought out the app, didn't they, for Harry Potter, an app game. Did that go over your head?
That's missed me.
Well, that came out. It was rubbish.
Okay.
That was just like a normal app. Pay to
have
more
win.
time.
Yeah.
You have to like do a move and wait like 2 days before you can.
Yeah.
That it's
Mobile
not
app.
that. It's a console title, like proper AAA game.
That sounds. I feel like I would probably enjoy more a like multiplayer version, like kind of RuneScape-esque. Like you're using magic within the world, kind of quest kind of thing with other people.
This is what you want. This is what you want.
Well, when it comes out, Ben, we'll do an episode on it.
And in the movie world...
Movies
that are happening. Venom is out now.
Is it out?
It's out.
Are we going to watch it and do some sort of review?
I was going to watch it last week.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've seen any of the trailers, but it looks like it's going to be a hot mess of a film.
Oh, gosh. We'll have to go. We'll have to start making notes.
I know. So I was going to see it last week, and my girlfriend said... I'm not paying full price to go and see that. We're waiting until it's 2 for 1 next week.
Right.
So I'm going to see that tomorrow.
Okay.
All the reviews terrible. It looks like it's going to be awful.
But
because it's superhero, I want to see it. So maybe we could do that. Do a little Venom review. Episode.
I'll see if I can get down and watch it. We'll put it in the maybes.
Okay. X-Men. They've got a new film coming out.
Yes. Like the younger ones, isn't it? Yeah.
So
is this the last of Fox?
Has now been purchased by Disney. So it looks like all that is
all
definitely
hail Disney.
Yeah. I mean, half of me is so excited that the rights coming back for X-Men, etc., etc. They own too much though. Like I feel like they've got a monopoly on
Yeah, Disney
everything.
Is scary.
It's crazy. But anyway, that film. I don't know if you saw the last one, Apocalypse.
Is that the one where it ends on the beach?
No, that's First Class. That's years ago now.
Yeah. How does Apocalypse end?
So Apocalypse is the one. The villain is Apocalypse. He's the blue guy. If you've seen it. It starts off in like ancient Egypt. He's meant to be like the first mutant.
Oh, I've
really
not seen
powerful.
that. No.
Don't bother. It's,
okay. I was like really interested then. Like, no.
Like
okay.
you know how much I like superhero things, and that film, X-Men's been so hit and miss. That's why I'm glad that Marvel are getting it back.
Yeah.
Like they've had some not great films, but they're consistent. Their worst film is still pretty good.
Yeah, it's because they don't like mess with the format. Really.
Yeah. But they've nailed the format.
Yeah.
Whereas Fox is like so up and down.
Yeah. Logan, I thought was really good.
Yeah, Logan was great. That was a really good.
But then
good finish for him. Anyway, well, this film was originally, I think, meant to come out in November of this year.
Right.
It got pushed back to February 2019.
Okay.
So they released the first trailer for this film because it's already been like behind the scenes. There's a lot of like since Apocalypse did badly, this film along with the merger has been like, what's going on? Is it going to be bad?
Is this the one that's just called Phoenix?
It's called Dark Phoenix.
So
Phoenix. Have you seen the original 3?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's Jean Grey, the whole Phoenix thing. So they kind of like X-Men 3 didn't really use the Phoenix storyline from the comics. It just kind of
did their own things.
I think this is basically a redo of that film effectively that they're trying to do right.
Okay.
With all this new cast.
Right.
However, everyone's expecting this one to be a train wreck as well. I say everyone. There's a lot of talk about it being,
because it's I don't know her name now, but it's Sansa from Game of Thrones, isn't it?
Yes. Sophie Turner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like her a lot. I think she's good.
I think she looks like she could be Jean Grey.
She looks. I'm hoping. In the last film, she didn't really get to. I feel like it was just kind of like happened. Didn't really get to give it a proper go.
No.
And then at the end of that, they just threw in a little Easter egg for Phoenix out of nowhere. It feels like they're very, very quickly trying to develop her character, and this storyline would work best if she had time to grow first.
Right. So if she was already. Do you think they're trying to fit like 2 films into one?
Yeah. Well, I feel like they almost did in the last one. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, they released a trailer for that. Looked.
I think I've seen it. I think it's like looks kind of good.
Yeah.
But, like,
it looks kind of good, but my expectations so low.
Don't want to get your hopes up.
I don't want to get excited for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, literally one day later, the next day after this trailer, they pushed it back again.
Oh.
So it's gone from February next year to June next year, the day after the trailer came out.
I think it's probably better. Is it not better to wait and release a good product than rush it and deliver a bad one?
Yeah, but I mean, how many reshoots can solve a bad film when it's already been pushed back from November to February and now to June? It doesn't bode well.
It just sounds
how many times do you hear that with a film and then it does well?
If you just reshoot a new film.
Well, I mean, if you reshoot it from scratch, I suppose, but my hopes are
low.
I mean, my hopes are high. I hope it's good. I don't want to see a bad film.
Expectations low.
Expectations are very low, though. And along with that, I'm sure this will become a reoccurring thing because it keeps getting pushed back. Gambit, is that on your radar at all?
No, but I know who he is.
Yeah, he throws cards. That guy.
Yeah.
That, I think, was meant to come out 3 years ago. Channing Tatum was attached to play Gambit.
Okay.
Which I'm still like, will it work?
Isn't Gambit like a slim, kind of tall guy with a stick?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's slim, but I wouldn't say it's Channing Tatum. He's not the first guy that comes to mind when you picture him.
Channing Tatum's like built like a door, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like kind of wide,
he's a big old
faced
fridge.
Yeah.
And
he's
Gambit's
a good-looking guy, no doubt about it, but
yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't put him in a suit and a stick.
So he's attached to it still, whereas directors, I think they've gone through like 4 attached to it now.
Okay.
That in the background just keeps getting announced that it's moved back again. So that's moved to 2020 as a release now.
Wow.
So that's still happening. Last thing in movie news.
Movie news.
This
is the segment now. It's movie news.
This is movie news within Newsbleak. Aquaman.
Yes.
Yep. Have you seen the trailer?
No.
Did you know it's coming out?
Yes.
Yes.
I did know. And it's played by the guy that plays Khal Drogo.
Yes, Jason Momoa.
What a great name.
Solid name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Solid guy as well.
He's
built like a...
He's a sexy
Channing
man.
Tatum's big. He's... Whew,
Whoa.
whew.
I wish I was
Anyway,
built like him.
that trailer, there's a second one come out now.
I feel like you need to send me these links beforehand.
I have got all the links written down. I should have just sent this in a message to you.
Put it in the show notes.
So have you seen Justice League?
No. Is this going to be a don't? Do you like any films?
I love so many superhero films, and I want them to be good, and Marvel is just knocking them out the park every time.
Yeah.
DC was kind of like, didn't knock it out the park, but they had like a goodish one, very downhill. Wonder Woman was like, oh, okay, maybe they can do a good film. And then Justice League came out, and it's like, wow, that's meant to be your flagship film, and you released that. So Aquaman's the next film after that. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say it looks good too early.
Okay.
But it looks like it could be good.
Where are your expectations in comparison
I'm keeping
to
them
Dark?
I'm keeping them low.
No, not hope. Okay.
You mean how do I think it will be?
Yeah. Like,
I think it looks bonkers.
Right.
Like, I think their issue is that they've been way too serious and not enough plot line. And
Okay.
if this one has a good script, it could be good. Like, they look like they've gone fun with it.
If you had to guess which was going to be better, Dark Phoenix or Aquaman, which do
I
you
think Aquaman.
Okay.
That trailer got me more excited than Dark Phoenix did.
And it's not been pushed back forever.
And it's not been pushed back forever. I think this one did get pushed back a bit, but...
I think that's quite common within films, though.
Yeah. But it looks good. There's like a closing shot of him in classic comic book. Have you seen his costume with the green tights and gold
yellow
top?
And,
Well, yeah.
Have I downgraded
yellowy,
him
orangey,
here?
goldy coloured kind of... Yeah. And it looks slightly weird with massive tank of a guy, Jason Momoa, in this orange and green suit. But it kind of looks good. I'm going to find you a picture so you can see this.
Wow, he's like painted gold. That's not like an outfit. It looks like they've just painted him gold.
But that's like the closing shot of the trailer. And like, it looks like it could work. It looks a little weird, but it's like...
Yeah.
It is his costume.
Yeah, it depends how they do it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen him with Mark Ruffalo?
No.
They were like doing some photos together and Mark Ruffalo's wearing like a mask and then he like uncovers it and Jason's like, yes, Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, I've not seen that, no.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
He's a cool guy.
Any more news? News?
Nah, that's all my news.
We done then?
We're done then. Should we move on?
Yes, let's move on.
Jobs.
What was the first job you had?
Well, I'll preface this with I've not really had many jobs.
You don't work, are you?
No. No, I've only ever had 2 real jobs, I suppose. My first job, which I was in for... I was trying to remember this, and I genuinely can't remember how long it was. Okay. I think it was about 4 years. I worked at TGI Fridays.
Delicious.
I worked in... I suppose we could break it down. I'm going to try and split that job into as many jobs as possible. I started off in an SA role, which was kind of server assistant. Okay. So we weren't waiters. We just did the stuff that the waiters didn't want to do, / stuff that would help them. Running drinks, clearing tables, all that.
Okay.
Then I worked as a waiter, or in TGI's they called us dub-dubs.
What?
I don't know why.
Is that an official title? Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah. So we had dub-dubs, which were waiters.
Okay.
And then we had, like, the dub-dub manager. Like, because, you had, like, the managers, and they'd each be assigned to a section. So you had, like, dub-dub manager, dub-dubs.
So it didn't, like, work its way up. So a server assistant wasn't a dub, and then a waiter was, like, a dub-dub. And then, like, your manager was a dub-dub-dub.
I can remember anyway. That
it was, like, just the top of TGI just dubs all the way along. Like...
Yeah, so worked as that. That was my main chunk while I was there, was as a waiter. Then I also worked in the kitchen for a bit, which I'll get onto later. I'm not a chef.
No. I've seen you cook. It involves a microwave.
And I also worked on dish there, washing the dishes a bit as well. That was my first job. Yeah.
Okay.
How about you?
Well, I did stuff, so I had like a paper round when I was younger, which I don't really classify as my first job. But my first job was also working in a restaurant.
Yeah.
But as like a pot wash.
Right.
So
we've got that in common.
Yeah, so I was maybe like 14 when I did the pot wash, and I really, really didn't like it.
Did you not?
No. So it was run by the parents of a girl that I went to school with, and me and this girl did not get on. Okay. So
you didn't get the job through her?
No.
Basically,
the parents and my parents were kind of friends.
Right.
So they got on enough that my mum was like, "Oh, can you give James a job?" And they were like, guess so.
Well, don't sound too enthusiastic.
Yeah, and I think it's like, oh, we've had 6 pot washes in about 6 weeks, so yeah, James can come and do this. And it was just horrific. Like, I hate working in that kitchen. And like, I don't know if you remember from there, but the smell of like a kitchen and the pot wash is horrendous.
Yeah.
Even so, if I smell it on someone now that like I can tell has come out of a kitchen, it makes me gag.
I was going to come on to this later, but seeing as we're talking about it now, and I don't imagine pot wash is going to be a big topic later on, but we'll just cover it now and get it out of the way. Did you finish shifts? I don't know how big the sink was. Did you have like a tan line of dirt basically by the end of it? Right,
where the gloves ended?
No, well, we didn't get gloves.
Oh, okay. No, I was like, so I've like got sensitive hands to heat, so I had to wear gloves. I was like, I'm like washing my hands at work, like normal. I'm like, it gets too hot. I just hated it, and I was just like,
I actually didn't mind the pot wash,
right?
Because I came to it maybe 2 years into, not even that long, probably a year into working there.
Okay.
It was while I was still in SA. Not a waiter. So for me it was kind of novel that I gotta do something.
Right.
I didn't have to deal with any people. I could just be in my own little space. And
no, I was just basically bottom of the pile. So I cleaned all the dishes. I would like run down to the freezer downstairs to get anything the chefs asked for.
Right.
I had to like mop the whole floor after everyone had finished. So I was there like the latest. Everybody else would be outside having a pint, and then I'd be mopping the floor. And then the manager would come in and go, "No, this is not good enough," and make me mop it again.
How old were you at this point as well?
Oh, maybe 13, 14.
Oh, so you couldn't have even joined in with the whole...
No, but like I could have had a pint.
Yeah.
Like the girl that was there of my age was maybe drinking as well. Maybe I was like 15, 16, that age. And I just really did not enjoy that. And I've got one vivid memory of it. It's basically the dessert chef. There was a little bit unhinged. He was a little bit crazy. And I remember him getting a message through at the middle of our shift, like from his friend saying like either his girlfriend or maybe his ex-girlfriend, I can't remember correctly, was seen with this guy that he'd had issues with, like some like jealousy issues.
Yeah.
And he just lost it. He just gone a little bit crazy. He was like putting these knives into his pockets. He's like, I'm going to go kill him. I'm just going to go and kill him. It's like middle of the shift. Like, no, first of all, you can't leave. We're still working here. And second of all, don't go and kill somebody. I mean, and he's literally like...
I like how in the order of things that you just went through there, you can't possibly go because we're still working.
Yeah.
Followed by, and you can't kill him as well.
Well, who's going to make the desserts? I can't make the desserts. Do you know what I mean? Who wants... If they need a creme brulee, who's going to give it to them? Like, yeah. And I'm there like 15 trying to calm this guy down, like, please don't go and kill somebody. And he's like wiping these knives out and putting them in like a little pocket.
Can you clean these for me?
I think he was like going to come back with like some blood on his, like, these need to go through the machine. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like proper panicking. And eventually some other chefs came over and calmed him down. But I saw him years later in Bury, and I didn't want to bring up the story to him.
No.
Did you ever kill that man? He did say he just got out of a prison though.
Oh god.
Yeah, so that's all I really want to say about that. I very much didn't enjoy that. What did you do after you were a waiter then?
After I was a waiter, I never officially worked on the bar, but we all kind of got a bit of bar training, so got a bit of that. Then the main thing happened between, so server assistant to waiter. I did a bit of kitchen work in between that, and then after that I was just waiter straight through to the end.
Okay. What did kitchen work involve?
Kitchen work, so I had in the kitchen, because it's obviously quite like a big chain. You got like sections. You didn't just have like 2 chefs that did everything. So I worked on a section called Plate Nacho.
Plate Nacho.
And another one called Saute. I should know how to pronounce that.
Okay.
I only did like 2 shifts on that, and then I did maybe a couple months work on Plate Nacho. Like, I was never like officially really employed into the kitchen.
Yeah.
It happened. This was the worst thing was I was a server assistant, and when I was probably 16, so you don't want to say no to the managers. You just kind of go with whatever's happening.
To get pressured into anything.
Yeah, so I never showed any interest or wanted to move into the kitchen. It was literally, this guy's sick, can you go in the kitchen? And I'm a server assistant, so I was like, sure.
I'll do anything.
I won't do anything. I did preface it with, I can't cook. I've never cooked. They put me in there anyway. So I was being trained on my first shift. There was no prior training, and I hadn't even got a chef's uniform at that point. I was just in my shirt and trousers put through there. So, yeah, I was literally, as I was being shown, Plate Nacho consisted of nachos, as you'd imagine.
And some plates.
And we cooked plates. No, we had nachos, salads.
Right.
What else did I cook? I'm sure I had something to do with the sandwiches, like the BLTs. Garlic bread, that's what it was. Garlic bread, nachos, stuff like that. It was just a weird mix, really.
Did you ever have a cheeky nacho?
Not while I was making them.
No?
Honestly, it was so stressful, I didn't have time to think about that.
Not like one for the plate?
Last thing on,
one for me?
Last thing on my mind
plate?
was that I had this screen above me, and because I was panicking from start to finish of the shift, because I had no idea what I was doing, my mind was completely focused on everything that was going on.
Entered the food zone, just like, got to make the
literally
food.
that. But the worst thing, the manager who'd asked me if I could work in the kitchen with no training whatsoever, while I was having a mental breakdown with everything coming through, because it was a busy restaurant, he was like, oh, could you come and clean some of the tables out front as well? And I was literally like, what am I don't even know what you want from me here. Like, I've been thrown to the kitchen, 16-year-old me, no idea what I'm doing. And then he was like, can you also clean tables at the same time whilst food's cooking? Something's wrong there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally, because I was like, I didn't know really what to do, and I don't think I responded either way to his question. And one of the other chefs just kind of came up to him and was like, nah, mate, like, come on.
You're asking the impossible.
There's got to be a line here somewhere. Like,
yeah, can you come and welcome the guests in? Can you cook all their food?
Yeah,
it's
literally
like a one-man Ben show, is it?
But anyway, that was that. I worked in the kitchen for a while. I liked that I didn't have to deal with people. But that was, back of house is way more stressful than front of house. Hands down. Yeah, no question.
Yeah. Yeah, you got all these like time pressure on you.
Yeah.
But the upside is you don't have to deal with customers.
Yeah.
But did you get tips in the back of house?
We didn't get tips, but you got a slightly higher hourly rate.
Yeah.
To account for it. And then also if you got a cut of the service charge. So
okay, so it was a big meal.
If there was like a table of 10 or more, they'd put a service charge. I might be completely wrong with that figure. If it was a big table, there'd be a service charge. And then a portion of that would get split into the kitchen. It wasn't really a thing.
No.
Tips back of house. It happened, but you didn't rely on it. Yeah.
Do you have any stories around tips? How do you feel about tipping in general?
I think I completely agree with how they did it there. You keep the tips you make.
Okay.
Like,
so your table.
Yeah, so I don't think that you should have to split it. So as server assistants, you tipped them out as a waiter. So when I was a server assistant, you'd have to kind of go around with your hands out and be like,
please sir, can I have some tips?
Yeah, and you'd have to hope that, the idea was that they tipped you out a little bit as a thanks for helping them, support them through the shift.
Did you kind of work under a single waiter in that kind of sense, or did you work?
we just floated around. There was normally, I think, on like a peak shift, there was like 2 of us on at once, maybe a bit more. But yeah, like it was, the waiters should tip them out every time, but it never worked like that.
Right.
Like you had to go up to them, and normally they give you like £2 or £3 each. Sometimes if you got like a nice person, they give you more. But yeah, I think tips just as a thing, like the idea is you're getting them for good service that you've given to that table. So I don't think that should be split amongst the whole of the restaurant. Like if I'd done really bad in a shift and didn't make any tips, then that's on me.
Do you think that your performance affected the tips you got?
Nah.
No. So
if someone was going to tip, they were going to tip anyway.
Yeah.
A genuine, yeah. I mean,
so why don't you agree with then spreading the like? Is it not just
I was
look?
about to follow it up with like sometimes you could tell sometimes like the tables that weren't going to tip,
Yeah,
and sometimes you could tell the ones that were, and I think occasionally you did. If you put in good work, they would give you more. Maybe the amount is influenced by how good your service was.
But like, if the food was really bad, would they still tip you?
The weirdest thing was if I had a complaint about the food, the times that tables would complain, that's normally when I'd get the best tips.
Interesting. Is that because you've had to deal with them being
if they were that type of table would be like, we realise that none of this was your fault.
Yeah.
And sorry for giving you a hard time. Here's a tip.
Did you ever have people that had an issue but didn't realise that it wasn't your fault?
Yeah.
That it wasn't just one.
Yeah, more times than not, it'd be that.
Yeah. Like people just giving you grief.
Yeah.
Have you got any good stories about that you get your own back or anything like that?
Nah, not so much with that. I mean, I've gotten like an endless amount of people that were awful.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely really did not like people by the end of that job.
Yeah, I think that is one thing I've gained from working in retail, is that the general population can act like knobs.
Yeah. So unreasonable.
And, I'm not saying that everybody's a knobhead, but I just...
Nope, I'm saying it. Everyone is a knob.
Because I have a feeling that, you know how like some countries have like a national service where you have to go into the army at 18 or something like that. I feel like the world would benefit if at 16 there was like a national retail service. So you got paid for it, but you had to go and work for a year or maybe like 6 months in retail.
I would completely get behind that.
Yeah, and just see how awful people were.
Yeah.
Because that if you've been on that side of it, then I'm never terrible to waiters or waitresses or anyone that works in retail, because I know 99% of the time it's not their fault.
Yeah. I'm going to make so many sweeping comments generalizing people here, and I don't mean to, but there was a large majority of people who you knew were going to act a certain way.
Right.
Like, it always tended to be middle-aged people, specifically women, a lot of the time.
Do they have that, can I see the manager haircut?
Yes.
Right.
And I really don't want to generalize, but it literally happened like this more times than not. Like, they would talk to you like every issue that they were having was your fault.
Yeah.
Like, you're running this company, you've picked the price of the things on the menu, and they're going to lay into you for it. And at the end of the day, as much as I like that job at different points, I didn't care how much the chicken BLT cost on the menu, and nor do I have any influence over it.
Excuse me, it's gone up £3 from last week.
Yeah.
It's gone up £3. Why is that? Why have you put the price up £3? Is it... Oh, I'm looking at you, Benjamin. Why have you put up £3, Benjamin?
Oh, God, I hated it so much.
Well, I'm not paying it.
It was awful.
I'm not paying it. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to complain about that. And also, like working in a store, we would often move stock around.
Yeah.
Which would really grind people's gears. Like, they would come in and stuff would not be in the same place. And then they'd have to come and find us to tell us where the new stuff is. And every time we would get a complaint. Like, they would be like, oh, I just wish you didn't move stuff around so much. And like, the store was tiny. Yeah. Like, it maybe took 5 minutes to walk around. So it's not like it was a big deal for them to find it, but it was a real big deal. People had some real issues. And the thing that annoyed me the most was, I think I hated it more than the customers did. Like, I hated that we moved stuff around because not only did we get complaints from customers, but we also then had to relearn the layout of the shop. And it's not like it was our decision, but like, because we're the ones that have to move stuff around. So if we get caught moving stuff, oh God, you get a grilling there and then. Why are you doing this? Why is me cheese moved? Like, listen, I don't make these decisions. And we're giving it absolute grief.
Yeah, I never understood that. And I sympathise up to a point with complaints when they happened, if they were for a reason. But when it was people kicking off about things like that, it was just like, why? Why are you taking the time to rant about this? Surely you recognise that I've got no hold over
It's because I think some people don't have power over other people in their lives.
Yeah.
And they kind of thrive off that.
Yeah.
And like, if you're working in a restaurant, then people can have a power over you because
that's why I hate so much, because they genuinely look down on you. A lot of these people, like, they treated you like a lesser person because you were serving them food.
Oh, I work in an office. I would never work in a restaurant.
Yeah. It's like, I often like wondered how many of those people, if you saw them in the street, would talk to you like that.
Yeah.
Are they just that kind of person, or is it because they think?
No, I think it's a power thing. Like, I think whoever spread the phrase, the customer is always right, I think I want to go back in time and strangle them in their sleep. Because I get that the intention is good, is that it's like it's supposed to be a sweeping statement, so that, you know, if nobody's buying your product, like, generally, then, the customer, there must be something wrong with that product. The customer is right because nobody's buying it. It doesn't mean they can come into the store and see there's no salt and vinegar crisps, and they go, we want crisps in, and that customer is right in that individual setting. It means like a general arching thing. But that means nothing to the customer when they're saying it to you. Oh, gosh.
No. The other thing, kind of semi-related, was... because obviously this one was like a big franchise. It wasn't like an independent thing where the managers could see what was going on and they'd choose kind of how to run things. You had like head office come up with things, and then obviously everyone would do
follow
that across the country. And the worst thing was when they brought in these new like brand standards that you had to follow. And it really felt like someone who was sitting in an office kind of just writing down all these ideas, who had never stepped into a restaurant. Just things that like physically didn't work time-wise. Like they were all like well-meaning, but it was things like if you were on the way back to the kitchen to drop off a glass or something, like you just cleared a table, before you could leave, you had to take food from the kitchen that was ready, regardless on if it was your table, if you were free or whatever. So you could very easily have taken an order, cleared something away on the way past, and need to go and bring like drinks to someone, but you could go into the kitchen and then just get caught in a loop of taking someone's mains to that table, picking their starters back up, because obviously you're not going to leave them there, take them back to the kitchen, have to take more food on the way back out, by which point the drinks you were meant to have taken like 30 minutes ago never went there, and you just completely neglected the table forever. But like, depending on what manager was on, they'd be like, we can understand that this doesn't always work, do your own thing. But some of them were like, if you step the foot out of that door without taking this food, like, you know,
so help you God, I will punish you.
Oh, that was the worst thing. Like, completely unreasonable managers who I'm not gonna name. I've already named the company. So.
I think middle management, it's the same thing again. Power. Like, you're one step above me, and you really, like, people that went from just like working as a customer assistant to going into management, everybody says it changes them. Like, the power they get over people, it just turns people crazy. I think even just the smallest of power. So have you at TGI's, did you have the issue of thieves? Like, how many walkers did you get?
My last ever table on my last ever shift when I left was a walkout.
Right.
And it wasn't an accidental one. To be honest, I don't think I've ever had an accidental one. It was always like intentional, and I did not see this one coming. Sometimes you could see it, and you'd just be like, you'd have your eye on them constantly, ready to pounce, because you knew they were going to go. This one was like a family of 4. There was like man and wife, or I assume they were man and wife, 2 kids. They seemed perfectly nice. Like, we'd even been chatting about the fact this was my last shift, and I was like, oh, you're my last table. And I was in a good mood. I was about to leave forever. And I saw them running. I saw them running out the front door.
Like, literally sprint.
Sprinting out the door.
How?
And, like, I didn't even have, like, sometimes there's been a couple of instances where, like, I've made an effort to go after them. But I was like, I could see they were too far away at this point. I was like, I just kind of stood there, like, how dare
some
you people.
Like, how do they rationalise that to their children?
No, that's the worst thing. Like, I know that it shouldn't matter that there was kids there. Like, morally, it's wrong anyway. You do it, but with your kids there, like,
do you reckon they're just sitting? Like, how old were they?
this is hazy in my head now.
Like teenage age, or like...
No, like slightly young, maybe in the region of like 10,
right,
ish. I couldn't believe that one though.
How do you sell that? Like, okay, children, we're going to run out this store as quick as we can because the terrible Benjamin's going to eat you up, and then they just run out screaming.
Yeah, the worst one was we were in like a big shopping centre, and there was a couple of times that fire alarms went off like through the whole shopping centre, and you had to empty out. We were like right next to this kind of lawn that went kind of down some steps, so you all went to the bottom of there. If that happened, like you fully had to expect only 2 of these tables are going to come back in.
Yeah.
Like if you were a table that had just finished eating and the fire alarm goes off, they wouldn't come back. Like, because there's no way that you could trace them leaving and drag them back in type thing.
Yeah.
Like they knew they could just walk away at that point and not pay.
I think it takes a very morally just person after being asked to leave the restaurant without paying to then come back and pay.
But then even the people who came back, again, like completely unreasonable people, would be like kicking off that their food was taking so long because the fire alarm went off halfway through their food cooking. But then they'd take it out on you, and it's like, clearly, I didn't want this to happen. Like,
no, it's you having a cigarette out the back, Ben.
Yeah, it was just, that's what it was.
It's me burning the nachos. Oh, these plates have burned again.
So that happened. My favourite one, though, from a walkout that worked out brilliantly was, it was one of those tables, again, like generalising people here, but you saw them come in. They just looked rough. And you kind of got the sense, like, okay, I think they're going to do a runner.
Yeah.
This wasn't my table. I think they might have even been sitting at the bar because it was the bartender that went after them. And we were talking about it. It was a daytime, so there was only a couple of us on. And I was talking to him, and he was like, they're going to do a runner, aren't they? And I was like, yeah, you can see it. And lo and behold, they did. But the bartender was ready. Like, he was kind of like almost in like a sprint position, ready to go off at any point. He saw them going, so they went down this lawn out the front of our thing. He kind of was starting to catch up with them. And they must have not been from the area, I don't think, but they turned right at the bottom. And as you go down that road, there's a police station. And like, it was like it was written perfectly. Like, they turned this corner and ran into a police car that was coming out of the station, fell over. The bartender caught up at that point, and then the police got out of the car and sorted the whole thing out. Because obviously the bartender was like, they've just run out from our restaurant. And I was like, that is like instant karma.
That's beautiful.
That was great.
Yeah.
Good day.
Oh. Here's a question for you then, seeing as you've worked in a restaurant. If you were at a restaurant and they missed an item off your bill, would you, and you paid your bill and you left and you noticed that item wasn't on it, would you consider that stealing?
I mean, yeah. Probably wouldn't say anything though.
No.
It depends. I know I shouldn't change my views on the type of restaurant. If it was a big chain restaurant,
right,
I'd be less inclined to
say
point
anything.
It out.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'd just been served by the owner of the restaurant who loves his business so much and he'd just been, seeing us personally, I'd feel really guilty walking out.
That's interesting. Because I think I wouldn't. If I would just go out, I'd just pay my bill.
In all honesty, I probably wouldn't even notice. I'd probably just leave and not realise I'd not paid.
I wouldn't even look at the money and just, here's my card. Just take that £100 note. Yeah, I don't worry about
I suppose
change.
It depends how much the bill was.
Yeah. But I think the idea is that if it was the other way round, if there was an extra item on your bill,
then you'd be
say
something.
On yeah. So, but I feel like if you winning, do you know what I mean? You got lucky that time. I think the prices are built in with that in mind, and that sometimes you might miss an item.
Yeah.
Well, we have had lots of thieves at the store I work at, which is they are terrible for it. Like, so we went for a stint where we didn't have a security guard on the evening for probably about a year, and the local thieves kind of clocked onto this.
Right.
So they would come in, and I've caught people that would sort of get a basket, and then the boxes that small chocolates come in. Yeah. They would be taking those off the shelf and just filling the basket up with them. So I've come on the corner and gone, hey, and they've gone like, and then just like bolted out the shop without taking them. But I've seen them run out with like a basket under each arm, like with just chocolates everywhere. So, and like you'd be running, sometimes I've chased them out the road, and there's a road just outside the shop. They'll be running across, and like they're like flakes just flying everywhere. There's just like curly whirlies on the floor. But like, there's only so far you can chase them before it becomes like unreasonable.
Yeah.
And like
I'm picturing the scene out of Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
When he's taking the stuff off the shelves there.
Yeah. So it's really bad. And so me and my manager, there was this one guy that would come in all the time, and we'd like clock him, but then be getting away. Mm-hmm. And he was in the store, and the manager clocked him. He was like, right, I'm going to get him. And they would always have like a big bag, or like a big like bring your own bag or something like that. They would always just shove something in and then just go. Yeah. And basically the manager clocked him, and he was about to leave, and the manager basically barred his way. He's like, no, you're not getting out. And they started like pushing and shoving.
Oh, God.
So me and the manager wrestled this guy to the ground, and like kind of ended up just like lying on top of him. So, like the police got called.
Yeah.
And like you just hear these sirens just like blurring in, and basically we ended up opening up his bag, and he had like just a box worth of chocolate. So like it wasn't even like loads of stuff.
Yeah, but you just knew he was taking something.
Yeah. And so this makes it sound like it was really, oh, me and this guy wrestled a thief. He was maybe 16, and he was a slender guy, so it wasn't like we'd like wrestle this big guy to the ground.
You could have done that story a whole lot differently.
Yeah, we could made me look a lot better. But no, he was. They were just so many thieves. How I could tell there was a thief in the store a lot of the time was you could smell them. Okay, so the kind of thief who would be taking like a lot of chocolate, or they'd take some washing up liquid and stuff like that. That the idea was, I think they're taking them so that they could sell them on and buy drugs.
Right. So
the kind of person that's stealing stuff to buy drugs is not up there on their personal hygiene.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're on the next aisle and you're like, you can just smell something.
There's a robbery going down.
You could smell them. So I'd have to like, you'd be like, go on the next aisle, and there's this like one guy's like sweating. Yeah. He's like looking like itching his like thighs and stuff like that. I'm like, are you okay there? He's like, yeah. And then they just like walk out and leave the store. But like you could smell them from a good distance away to see if they were thieving.
So you can put that on your CV now for future jobs, that you've developed a sense for crime.
I'm actually Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's my superpower. I can smell thieves. So after TGI's, what'd you do?
Before we finish on the TGI's era, I've got a question that will probably apply for yours as well, because I know I've got a couple of good stories.
Cool.
Stupid questions from customers.
Right.
What have you had?
I've had Scousers ask me, where are the jalapenos? And I'm like, what's a jalapenos? and they've had to describe to me what a jalapeno is, but they don't know how to say it.
I was going to say, in retrospect, you can understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I can imagine with an accent, and when you're in the middle of your shift.
Hey, mate, you not got any jalapenos? What is that? What is that? Like, it goes in sandwiches and stuff like that. Excuse me? Yeah, so that was, I've had silly questions like that.
Yeah.
People that have come up to me, I'm like standing, putting out bottles of Coke, and they go like, where's the Coke? and I'm like,
do you think that's because it's out of awkwardness that they can see you doing it and don't want to be like, can I have one of them?
No, because sometimes it won't be even like what I'm putting out. It'd be like, literally they're stood next to it.
Yeah.
And I kind of just have to point and go, there you go. Like, and the people that annoyed me the most were the ones that like walk in the door and might be by the door and they just go, where's the bread?
Yeah.
Oh God. Like, no manners, not even going to look for themselves. Yeah. They just want guiding to the food. My favourite story of this is, I had a guy come in, he was like, where's the coffee, mate? I'm like, right, well, I'll show you to the coffee. So take him to the big coffee stand. I'm like, yeah, here's your coffee, mate. And he's like, no. Where's the coffee, mate? I'm like, are you joking? Like, what's going on here? I was like, here's your coffee, mate. And he's like, no. where's my coffee, mate? I was like, I just did not understand what was going on.
I don't understand what's going on.
So basically, he didn't want coffee. He wanted coffee mate.
What?
So coffee mate is a product that's like coffee whitener. So and that's what it's called. But like, because he was Scouse, I just thought he was being my best pal. Like, here's your coffee, pal.
Yeah.
You know, no, where's my coffee, mate? Like, I was like, we kind of just had like a little standoff for like 5 minutes, and then he had to describe what he actually wanted. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Right.
Yeah. So I've had silly questions, but not too bad. What have you got?
Well, I got a couple here. A good pronunciation one. We've already had the jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
Was if people just said something that I couldn't understand what they were saying, it normally meant they were ordering a quesadilla. So for anyone who doesn't know what one is, it's like a folded toasted fajita, basically. And
Mexican dish.
Like, the highlight of my day was when someone was trying to order a quesadilla. Mm-hmm. And the best one was, again, it was a middle-aged woman. She was very, very proper, dressed very well, and very serious. And she said to me, she was like, can I order a quesillydiddly, please? Quesillydiddly. And I had to try so hard not to just laugh in her face, literally like you've just done. And I asked her again. I was like, sorry, what was that? And she was like, a quesillydiddly, please. Quesillydiddly. One of the chicken ones.
Chicken quesillydiddly. Oh, great.
That was a good
that's
one.
A beautiful one, that one. Oh, I might start using that. Just give people
quesillydiddly.
Yeah.
But another couple of good ones was, does the rack of ribs, have they got bones in?
These seem like jokes.
And like genuine. The best one though was there was a couple and the guy had ordered. We had these like bacon potato skins. Like, you know, it's kind of like potato cut in half, filled with cheese, topped with bacon.
Yeah,
that's it. So he doesn't ask this before. He orders bacon skins. He gets brought to the table. I drop it off, and he's like, "Oh mate, have these got pork in them?" I was like, well, it's bacon skins. Is that not what you wanted? And he was like, oh, I didn't realize the bacon had pork in. And I was like, you've got to be joking. Like, and I had to take it away. He wouldn't eat it.
Oh gosh, was it? Did you ask why?
No, I just walked off. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm not even gonna like hold a conversation with you.
I won't be talking with idiots. In a situation like that, what happened to that food?
That was just put. I think it just went straight to dish. Like, we just put it in the bin and gone. Like,
no, like you wouldn't get it, like staff wouldn't eat or anything.
No, we'd again, depending on who was on, they were more lenient. But if you got caught eating food, you'd be in trouble.
Oh, really?
Even if it was in that instance, yeah.
I guess. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
I guess it's the idea is that you don't then misorder someone's food so that you can have like a lunch. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh, you want a quesillydiddly?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But I've got my last one before we finish with TJ is just because this one is my favourite story.
Go on.
At my expense, this one. This wasn't a customer.
Okay.
I might have told you this one before, and to this day, I still don't know what I was trying to do on this shift.
Okay.
So, I was working on a section outside in the summer. So we opened this like patio up, and it wasn't even a busy shift. I was under no pressure. I was serving this table. And I took their order. I was about to walk off. I didn't need to say anything to them. Like, because I've tried to rationalize this since and being like, what was I trying to say to them here? And there's nothing.
Is this the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night? Like 3 o'clock in the morning, like, why did I do this?
Why? Literally.
Okay.
So, take their order, take their drinks. I read it back to them. So, I completed that. At that point, I walk off. Okay, right. That's what I should have done.
Yeah. I
say to them, have a shit.
Okay. How did they react to that?
Well, there was a moment of silence from both parties, followed by me panicking.
Right.
I'm saying, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what I was trying to do there. And then they started laughing, which was fine. They were. It was like a youngish table.
Okay.
And they just saw it as funny.
Yeah.
But there's so many tables that would have taken that.
Gosh, yeah.
Badly. But then I was, because then I tried to explain myself. I was like, I had nothing to say though.
No.
Because there was nothing to say.
No.
And then I just walked off. I was like, that was it.
So after years of contemplating why you might have said this, what have you come up with?
Nothing.
It's not like a combination of...
Nope.
No.
Because if I dropped the food off, I could have been going, enjoy your meal. Have a good food.
Have a good shit.
have a shit. I don't know where it came from. I'm not even the type of person that just swears left, right, centre.
Yeah.
It came out of nowhere. That
they weren't
keeps
like
me up
near
at
to the
night.
toilet, were they?
Nope. We were outside. We were as far away from it. Nope.
There was no dog like having.
Nope.
No.
Well, I mean, not that I can recall.
Remember. Wow.
Anyway,
did they tip well?
No idea. I tried to avoid them as much as I could after that.
Just blank that from your memory. I will never think about this again.
So yeah,
great.
Anyway, let's close the TGI's section.
So, did you leave TGI's or did TGI's make you leave?
No, I left. You weren't fired. I'd started uni in because I'm from Birmingham. Mm-hmm. Well, Solihull, outskirts of Birmingham.
I'll give you your address as well.
Well, the thing is, I normally, if someone says, where are you from? I'll be like, Solihull.
Yeah. And then
normally followed by, where's that?
Yeah.
And then I'll say Birmingham, and they're like, oh, I know Birmingham.
And then people go, is that in the south? And if they're from the north. And if they're from the south, they go, is that from the north?
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Yes.
But then if I say to someone, oh, I'm from Birmingham, and they're like, oh, so am I, whereabouts? And I say Solihull, and then they go, well, that's not Birmingham.
Yeah.
So...
Can you not usually pick up because they have like a terrible accent?
Well, yeah. Let's I'll stay impartial on that. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so I had started uni in Liverpool, and for the first year, I went home at holidays, like summer, Christmas, all that. And then while I was trying to get my career going here, I decided to not go back one of the summers and try and force myself into doing the work I'm doing now. So it was a conscious decision.
So
I didn't get fired or anything.
Yeah. What is your career for those that don't know?
My career now, I'm self-employed as a musician. Play some songs.
You do.
Get some money, and that's my job.
You play in bars.
Playing bars.
Weddings, festivals. Some original stuff.
Yeah. Not done any like tours or stuff in a while, but when it happens, just any gig that comes up, basically, that will be what happens.
Yeah. So he's not like a man in a kazoo. He like
no.
Like he's mentioned before, he plays the guitar.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good, but I'm biased as being your friend.
Mate.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that for now? Then, how did you find that?
3, 4, probably 4 years as a full-time thing. I think. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So did you start while you were at university?
Yeah, I kind of started a little bit when I was in the second year of uni, and then in third year, I did the thing of going around as many bars as I could with like a CD, basically.
Yeah.
And just pleaded for gigs anywhere I could, because I was like, I'm going to be leaving uni soon.
Yeah.
Need to make some money somehow. Yeah. And then had a couple of gigs by the time I finished. Yeah, it kind of just grew off that. Like if you're doing a gig, someone might come up and try and book you for a wedding or so. They own a bar down the road and do some stuff off that. And then it just turned into a full-time thing after that.
Yeah, it kind of snowballs off each other, doesn't it? Like if someone hears you and you're not terrible, they go, oh, well, they could be good at my bar.
Something.
Or my wedding or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad I started it while we were in uni, because I think if I'd started post-uni, the first 2 years, I really didn't make much money.
No.
But I think starting it a bit early, there was enough overlap that managed to survive.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm still here now, so...
Yeah. I think that's how businesses go, isn't it? Generally, like, the first couple of years is just getting on its feet. And especially in, like, a creative situation like that where, it's more word of mouth. You like, it's not like you can advertise, really.
No.
You kind of, like, have to just do...
Up to a point, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, you have to go in... Like, a CD is kind of like a CV for a musician,
yeah, I probably wouldn't do that now. I think CDs are dying a bit of a death now, but... Go around with a SoundCloud link or something next time.
Do you think it was difficult to get into? How have you found that?
Yeah, I think definitely it's all right now, mostly. It's still hit and miss because it's obviously not like I don't have like contracted work on paper. It could end at any point.
How do you like? Do you do anything to counterbalance that? Like, do you do anything to like? Do you have a safety blanket?
At the time when I still didn't really have any gigs, I started teaching, which I kind of quickly realised wasn't for me right now.
Yeah.
And as I got more gigs and sustained off that, I kind of pulled back on the teaching. And then the other thing, which never was really intended as a plan, but is almost a side business now, is website making.
Yeah.
Which kind of just started as a bit of, I say fun. It's not really very fun, but I tried to learn a bit of coding and things like that.
It's like a side project. It's something good to have. Diversifying your income is real. For example, if for whatever reason you lose the use of your fingers, whatever, like that, it means you can't play your guitar, or something means you can't sing. Then at least that's something that you could
someone else there.
Yeah, you can back up into.
But yeah, that just kind of started. I did my own website for that, and then did a couple of the bars that I was playing at because I just wanted something to practice on. And then they recommended it to a couple of people, and ended up with a few websites off that. But I wouldn't really say that was a job. It makes a bit of money. Yeah, but I'm not like seeking that as a career line. It's just kind of, if it comes up, I'll throw my name in the ring and. See what happens. Yeah,
like compared to the other people that you went to university with, so like Ben went to like a musically based university. Compared to those people, did everybody start early on, or how's everybody else?
I think everyone's doing a really big mix because like we've got friends who are, some of them are songwriting, and they're doing really well off that, like writing songs for other people who have ended up on the radio, and I've not really done so much of that. And some people are touring with original music and making living off that. Some of them are going to teaching. Some of them aren't doing it at all. I think it's just ended up a really big mix of whatever you do with a music degree after doing it.
Like, what's your end game with this? Do you want to just continue playing for bars to earn money that way? What's your goal?
I'd be happiest. I'm not expecting to make millions, but if I could make a living off just doing my own music, that would be like the end game. As much as I still like and appreciate being able to play any music and live off it, I'd rather be doing my own stuff than playing in bars.
Yeah. You want to be asked for gigs because of your own musical, songwriting and playing.
I just want to be Ed Sheeran, mate.
Yeah, well, who doesn't? Yeah, you don't just want to be ambient music. You want people to be there, coming for the music rather than coming to the bar and you being.
Yeah, I think that's the main difference. Yeah. Although that's the other disappointing thing is the really good gigs that have happened the past few years off my own stuff that might have happened in like big venues with a few hundred people there, and I get to play my own songs, and that's the point where you kind of feel like you're on the right track. That's when you don't really get any money for it. Whereas I could play a tiny little bar down the road and get paid triple the amount as a proper venue. So, which can sometimes be a bit demoralised.
Yeah. You played a gig with Newton Faulkner.
Yeah.
Did that not pay as well?
No, that one, relative to some of the other ones, paid well, but it didn't really pay any more than a bar gig.
Right.
Which almost doesn't make sense when you look at it like that, because that's the one where people are there for the music.
Does that mean that those gigs are underpaid, or do you think you are overpaid for your bar gigs?
I don't think... It depends on the types of gigs. Okay. I think it depends on your level as an artist as well. Like if you're an established name, a festival or a venue could give you a chunk of money because they know that you're going to pull in a big audience. Whereas if you're the underdog artist who no one really knows, they'll pay you a bit for being there, but at the end of the day, you're not going to pull in 1,000 people.
You're there, like you're doing it for exposure, really.
It's that thing. It's that classic thing of someone saying, "Oh, mate, I can't pay you, but I'll give you a pint, and it's really good exposure."
Yeah.
Like if I was doing a bar gig, I would never go anywhere near those anymore. Whereas if it was supporting someone who is an established artist, you'd have to weigh up. You don't want to be taken for a ride, but at the end of the day, you know that you're not that established artist. You're the one who's trying to get there. So
it's like buying a lottery ticket, isn't it? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're going as an undercard, as a support act for someone who's famous, then you're going to reach a lot of more people than if you play at TGI's Or
yeah, exactly.
Where the weirdest place I've had someone singing is me and my girlfriend were at Pizza Express, and there was someone like really going for it. She had like a proper like Amy Winehouse voice. She was like proper working it, and like I'm sure it was really good.
Yeah,
but Pizza Express is not really where I wanted it.
They're actually pretty good for it. They've started like a venue chain on some of their restaurants. Okay. Pizza Express have like it's a thing that they're putting money into.
All right, like the venturing
having music.
Yeah,
I supported a band who were big in the 80s a couple of years ago. And they were actually really good gigs as well. Yeah. They were a good band. But one of the stops on the tour was at Pizza Express. And it had a proper venue attached to it. So it was literally stage in the middle. And people had booked to go to this gig, but they could have pizza while they were there if they wanted. Like, it sounds really...
That's a really good idea.
It sounds weird picturing Pizza Express like a normal one, but it wasn't. It was like a venue turned into a Pizza Express rather than...
Like, if it was
good.
Yeah, if it was like an independent place that also sold pizza, you wouldn't think that was weird. Mm-mm. But just because it's like Pizza Express have this, like...
Yeah, I think because you hear Pizza Express and just picture Pizza Express, but no, they're actually good, yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like I've just spoken for the past, like, hour, so what are you doing now
post-university? So I did teaching training for a year. Which I really enjoyed. Teaching children was amazing, but really stressful. Like, everything that comes with that is such high stress, and everything like that. So I've not gone into teaching yet, and like you, I'm trying to become self-employed, become my own business. Currently, I'm still working at the supermarket, but I'm trying to work my way into being a business. I'm kind of really in like pre-business mode, I think, before I got anywhere. Yeah.
Which you need, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about a minute ago, that you need something before you've established the business to sustain you while you're doing the business. That's the trouble, isn't it, with being self-employed?
It is. Like, otherwise, like, I couldn't have the idea of doing my own self-employedness without being at the superstore, really, because there was no way I couldn't have no money. Like, rent's got to be paid, bills got to be paid. Yeah. There's only so long that my girlfriend could support me for before she turned a little bit crazy. Yeah. And kind of became my manager while I was searching for jobs. Yeah. But yeah, now I'm working towards that, trying to get that sorted.
And do you want to say what that is? Are you hesitant to?
We don't need to. I'm feeling a bit coy about the whole thing.
Okay, let's save it for in a year's time when it's an established business. We'll do jobs part 2, and we'll talk about your high flying business.
Yeah, if it takes off, we'll see how it goes. It's basically I'm trying to convert a hobby of mine into a job of mine. Yeah, which I think a lot of businesses can be that way. Yeah, like yours was, I guess. Musician is a hobby turned profession. Yeah. And I'm trying to combine a hobby of mine and bring it into a business area. Yeah. But we'll see how that goes. I feel a bit coy talking about it, because then if it dies within 6 months and now it's like published into the world, I feel a bit silly. So
okay. I suppose that brings us into a whole philosophical question of hobby into job. Does it change the hobby? Does it not feel like a hobby anymore?
Yeah, you're asking whether, do something you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Does that exist, or does, no matter what your work is, will you still find it work? I think you're in a much better position to talk about this than me, because working at a store was not a hobby of mine.
Are you sure?
I desperately need to get paid for that. I'm not doing it as a freelance, doing it for the exposure. Yeah. If you stack these shelves, you'll get great exposure. Someone will think you're doing a really great job, and then you might actually get a job. Yeah. Well, how did you feel about it then? When did you realize that this hobby could make you money? And would you say playing music is a hobby of yours now?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's definitely changed my view on it up to a point, but I think in my head there's still a definite line between like my own music that I might do the touring stuff with and the stuff I play in bars. It's the same thing ultimately, playing music, but there's like 2 parts to it.
It's like sectioned in your brain.
Separate to me. There's no boredom. I still get just as excited doing my own gigs as I did, back before it was my job. Whereas sometimes I might finish a bar gig and be like, oh, that felt like a hard day at work type thing. That said, I think it's very easy to forget at the end of the day I'm still getting paid to do music, which I think it's very easy to get tired of it and feel like, oh, I wish, I'm not quite doing the thing that I want to be doing with touring and stuff like that all the time. But I should still be happy.
Yeah, grass is always greener, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
If you make it to gigging and touring, then you might
It'll
be like,
probably shift to exactly the same
place.
Oh
god, this is so tiring, gigging and touring all the time. Like,
I think even more of a diva than I am now.
Yeah, I think people will end up not hating the work they do, but like work is almost always going to be tiring. Yeah. I mean, some people, it's like teaching. People always said to me that, like, when I was getting into teaching, that it has to be a passion. Yeah. It has to be a vocation, because it is such hard work that you don't do it because you want the money. Yeah. Like some people go into it because you get good holidays, which I think is not the way that you should be doing it.
No.
I mean, the holidays are great, but you need it because of how difficult that work is. And like, I always just thought that the money was not good enough to make up for how much work you had to do for that teaching. But I mean, I think people are going to say that about any job they do. Yeah. Like, some might be like, well, I don't get paid enough for the work I do.
Yeah.
But I think that's can be said about a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
That it ends up being tiring.
No. Yeah.
What kind of stuff do you do for hobbying now for music? Like, what is there anything that you do music related that's not related to working at a bar, like learning a new song? What do you do?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, I can't remember the last time that I rehearsed for a bar gig.
Right.
Like, on a normal week, say I did between 5 and 8 gigs in bars a week, that is my practice at the same time.
Okay.
Like, normally what I'll do is I've got like a little iPad on a stand that I know there's a list of like 300 odd songs in there, and if I vaguely know a song, I can play it. That's the kind of thing I do at a bar. Whereas if I've got a slot at a festival coming up with my own stuff, I'll still rehearse like 4 hours for that. So that's the main difference between the two. But I still like for fun, it doesn't feel like a job in any way if I'm songwriting or recording stuff for that, or, to be honest, anything like original music stuff that comes up, that still doesn't feel like a job in any way.
No.
But I suppose maybe that's because that's not my main source of income. No, maybe that's when the shift would happen. Maybe. When that's the thing I'm relying on, maybe that's when it feels like work.
When the pressure's on, I need to write a good song, I need to write a hit. Like, is that when that becomes... Is that why, like, a lot of, like, first albums always seem to be, like, really the best. Ones, yeah. It's like, the first album was the best because it wasn't their job maybe at the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was kind of that side project, their passion project. Then once it becomes your job, it's never the same. I think we should do an episode on music and songwriting, because I want to ask you lots of questions about
God, you got me questioning music now. What happens if I bring out an album and then everything's downhill from there?
You can be one hit wonder as long as it makes enough money.
That'd do me, I suppose.
Yeah. Have you got anything else that you want to say about jobs?
No, I don't know whether I do, actually.
No.
I mean, there's endless stories from gigs and stuff, but that could be a whole new episode on its own. Let's see, we could save it for later.
For a music one.
Right, well, I think that brings us to the end of the show.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it does too.
You can find us...
Where can you find us, Ben?
You can find us at www.twosheepinapool.com. That'll take you to everything. If you want to find us on Facebook, Twitter, all the rest of it, it's just Two Sheep in a Pool.
It is.
For everything.
Yep.
So until next time.
Thanks for listening.
Goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
See you later.